The art dictates its own length.
Yes, yes. Don't interrupt the process, Ghost, you know, like...
Hello, and welcome to Word Podcast. I'm Evie.
And I'm Webster.
And today we are with Aspasia.
Hi.
Hi there.
How are you today?
I'm very fine, thank you. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Great.
Yeah.
We're really excited to have you. Could you introduce yourself to the people who don't know you?
Oh, yes. So I'm Aspasia. I'm a Greek and German spoken word artist. Yeah, that's... I like to stay mysterious.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
We'll try to uncover some mysteries.
Yeah, super vague. Let's go with it. So, how did you get started with spoken word?
How you mean, like, why or when?
How, why,
How,
when, what?
why, when?
All of it.
Okay, so I was writing stories for myself for a very long while. And then when I decided it's time to share, I realized, they are long. People are going to look at me like for 15 minutes. I don't like that. So I kind of changed to poetry, and I found poetry was more like it brings the message with few words and more emotions straight to the point. And that's why I then decided to continue like that. Yes.
And where do you find your inspiration?
In daily life, I guess, like every artist, it's like the things that happen and that touch the heart. They just need to, be presented in a poetic form.
Nice.
So, did you grow up in Greece or Germany? Or
In both countries.
Oh, that's cool.
partially. But then school education I got in Germany because it's like my parents fancy Germany when it comes to education.
Ah, nice. So you've lived in different places. Has that influenced your poetry in any way?
I think it made me more open-minded because the cultures are quite different.
Right.
So it's easier for me to switch perspective even if it comes to like other matters.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
But I mean, it must be the same for you guys, right? You both live in a country where it's not your origin, and I feel like that's such a blessing. It's also a curse sometimes. It's so beautiful to be able to, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It gives you a better perspective, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think generally, like, people that I know who are like internationals, quote unquote, tend to be more open-minded about stuff, open to new experiences, meeting different people, and it kind of shapes the way you engage, in work and in life and stuff like that.
That's true.
So I imagine for your poetry, it's quite, it's mind-expanding because you've seen much of the world and you've seen how people speak in different languages. I'm assuming you're trilingual?
Yeah, I speak also Spanish because I've lived in Central America for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So, but not so good anymore, but yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So you also traveled a lot. And you just came
I
from
did.
Guatemala?
Yes, I came from Guatemala.
How was it?
It was beautiful, very inspiring. Yes, it was. I stayed at a lake that was surrounded by volcanoes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you sent me a picture.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, so beautiful. If it wouldn't be for this one, like I wouldn't have left. But no,
Well, sorry.
Deem you.
But this is not your first time in Amsterdam, right?
No. I like Amsterdam as a artistic city. Like I feel here's like people are very close to their hearts when it comes to arts. In Germany, I face more like you know what I mean when I speak about mind and heart, and I feel here people are more authentic, and in other places it's more like they want to perform, and here's more people want to speak and they want their words to be received, and that's what I like here, especially in Amsterdam. It's very nurturing, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long are you staying?
Tomorrow I leave.
Oh, okay.
My boyfriend has to work, so it's like I need to bring him home.
Did you always perform in English or German, Spanish, Greek? How?
I started with German for some, I don't know, like it was the easiest to me because that's the language we talk in my home.
Right.
But somehow I realized there is something in poetry that makes people understand, even if it's in a different language. But then having the emotion and understanding what the person is saying is actually more powerful. So then I switch to English. Yes.
Ah, okay. So do you find that people receive it differently in different languages?
Yes.
Right.
What would you say? What are you are also doing poetry or?
No. I'm a filmmaker.
Oh,
Yes.
And you're a friendly host.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and
a
your friendly host. Yeah.
But I
I'm
don't
just
know.
interviewing,
How-
but I'm bilingual, and like I'm from Zimbabwe, and we speak Shona in Zimbabwe, and
okay.
I noticed from a young age, like things you say, for example, in Shona have much more like gravity. They mean a lot more than in like English. So, for example, if you like swear at someone in English, it's like, oh, F you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, nah, fuck you, man. It's like, yeah, whatever. But in Shona, if you like swear at someone, it's like the worst thing, you know? So I was just wondering how that affects your poetry, because, you know, you know so many languages, and obviously you understand how they're interpreted in different languages.
That's actually true. But well, I realized like I don't know how it is for you, but for example, in my dreams, like I switch languages. So when I think in a different language. Like even when I was living in Central America, my brain worked in German. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now when it comes to poetry, like my natural language, it is somehow English. I don't know, like it switched, but like the thinking or the dreaming, they just stay the same. I don't know how it is for you, like your dreams, your thinking.
That's
how does
interesting.
it work?
When I was a child, actually, I remember when I was quite young when I started to change. But I used to think in my mind
But
in,
where did
in
you grow
Shona,
up? Sorry,
in
that I
Zimbabwe
interrupt.
until the age of 12, and then I went to England until I was 25.
Okay,
and now I'm
okay.
here. Yeah. So, so yeah, I remember there was a switch. There's a moment where I started thinking in English, and I was like, "Oh, this is weird. I'm not used to thinking in English." And I made the switch from Shona to English, and that was just like, pff, what? Like now I'm self-aware of the language that I'm speaking in my mind. But yeah, it can be difficult, I think, if you know multiple languages, because you have to decide this is how I'm thinking about stuff, and it changes the way you think. I think when I'm thinking in another language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. But how is it for you? Because you're also like with your. Where did you grow up? Here? No.
Lithuania.
So, so how is it for you? How do you dream? How do you
think in the language I speak.
Really?
I mean, at the
wow.
moment.
Yeah.
So you think in English?
Yeah, at the moment.
Yeah.
But when you sit with yourself and you just think about life and what you do next.
It depends on the context. So, like, if I sit by myself, what am I doing? And in which language
You're
am
just
I
hanging
doing?
out in your bed and you're like, what am I going to eat later?
Oh, it depends.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Like, you see? Like, for me, it's just like my brain is so rich. It's like, okay, this is in German and this is in Greek and this is in Spanish. And poetry is in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like also like if I'm traveling, I also try to learn new words from the places where I go. So like in Greek and things like I've learned a lot of things in Greek, for example.
Oh, right. You lived in Greece.
No,
right?
I worked in Greece.
Ah, you worked in Greece. Yes.
So
Now
for
I
me, it's
remember.
kind of like, okay, and then I can switch it up, and it's a mess in my head. It's really
Yeah.
it's not very tidy place.
Yeah, I prefer to think in one language. It makes things easier. you know?
Tidier.
Yeah, tidier. Yeah.
Organized.
Yeah.
No, but language, I just found out what's the oldest words, or what are the oldest words. Like if you would meet someone from 6,000 years ago, what would be the word that you could use that they would understand?
What is
Mama
it?
and
Oh.
Papa.
Oh.
Of course, yeah.
In the beginning, they thought like objects, like apple and things, and now,
Uh-huh.
but then they're like, no.
I thought like sounds or something. I don't know.
Well, I
why.
mean, it's the pan-Indo-European language.
I guess that's the one thing everybody has in common, right?
Mama and Papa.
Yeah. Or ouch, ouchie. So is there a common theme in your poetry that you like to express?
Well, I would say like mostly I just talk about emotion, like in general. I try
Right.
to figure out what I'm writing about. What is the feeling behind it, and then I try to compress everything. Yeah. So I would say emotions are my, especially sad and angry emotions. I don't know why. Like
Oh, cool.
that's what I like.
That's interesting
To
because you don't
express.
come across as like a super emotional or like serious person. You come across quite like bright, So how is that just inside stuff that you need to get out of your head, or?
Sometimes I feel it's the emotions in general we repress in the humans. And then I like to talk and chat to people, and then I often realize, oh, there is some common sadness inside of us. I don't know. But even me, like, it's not something, I mean, if you meet me and you're like, hi, how are you? And I go like, I'm so sad. It will disturb you. You don't, like, most people don't know how, they cannot just go like, oh, okay, why are you sad? They are just like, oh, I feel uncomfortable. I want to go away, because it's like, it's small talk. You are supposed to say, oh, I'm so good today.
Yeah.
Even if you're not.
Yeah.
And that is, I don't know, I feel sometimes that's the vibe I catch. And then I go home and it still bothers me. And I'm like, okay, now it needs to get out. And also, I don't speak up so much for myself.
Right.
So then in my poetry, like, if someone annoys me, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And then I go on the stage, I'm like, yeah, I hate you. I don't know. Somehow that's my, I don't know.
So
Like
poetry is
release.
like a release and therapy for you then.
Yes, somehow. Isn't it for all of us? Our art is like a healing facility for the soul.
Yeah,
somehow.
of course.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting what you mentioned about sadness, that it is underlying in many people, I think, in general, but then it's also so awkward to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because
You're supposed to
it's-
say, I'm fine, even though it's like, man,
Yes.
my day is going horribly, you know.
Yeah.
But no one's going to say that, because then I have to talk about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe you just want to say, you know what, today I'm feeling like shit.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't even want someone to pat me. I just want to say that I'm not good, and that's fine.
Embrace the shit.
Yes, yes. I was actually, recently I was thinking about happiness, because everyone is, and also for me, like, I want to be happy, and then I'm like, what is true happiness actually? Isn't it like allowing all the feelings to be there? So if I'm sad, and I respect the sadness somehow. But yeah, then it's easier said than done, right? It's like, let's just walk around and be sad, but like, it's so hard. No one likes it. It's like,
And I guess you need to have a balance of both emotions, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to appreciate when you are happy if you didn't experience the really horrible stuff, right?
so true, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I always think that being purposeful is better than being always happy.
But, I don't understand. How you mean being purposeful?
Like having a purpose. Like, you know, either it's connecting with people or helping people, or, you know, doing what you feel like there is purpose in it. Because it doesn't have to, like, it doesn't have the weight of like you have to be happy, you know. It doesn't have that aspect of like forced happiness.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You know what
so
I mean?
true.
Yeah.
So it means like you let's say like you know where you're aiming at.
Yeah, if
And
you
no
know
matter
what's
what
your
the emotion,
calling, you
just-
know, like what's your inside you.
Your values, I
Yeah.
guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, some people find purpose in children, or the other people in teaching, or I don't know, like it can be anything.
Yeah.
Facebook.
DJ making noise.
You're a ghost. There goes our deep conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, it's all gone.
He couldn't handle the pressure.
Just have to break it up with a little song. Like, sorry guys, too serious.
Talk about happy things.
Yeah.
So good today.
But on that note, I think we would be very curious to hear your poem.
Okay, let's go home. This is not fair. It's really not. Why do I get to think about that shit and you not? Or do you? Tell me. Tell me if you see this misery. 'Cause if you see it too, it would mean it's true. It's not just in my head. I'm not mad. Of course it would still be sad, but at least we could talk. Not like on a normal day where I feel that you hear me, but you don't truly listen to what I say. Today, please listen completely. So now, what did I just say? Can you repeat, please? See, you never truly listen to me. So I talk, add some things, leave others away just to make what I say more interesting. For you or for me, I don't even know, but today you have to tell me. Tell me what you see when you look at me. Is it love? Is it friendship? Is it anything more than attraction? 'Cause to me it feels like we want to meet, but we keep running into different directions, just to smile, wave at each other from afar, yet hiding our truth in distance. But not today. No, today you have to tell me. Tell me what you see. Tell me if you see your own misery. 'Cause I'm water thrown into your fire. Of course I will tame your flame. What else do you expect? But I will burn too, don't worry. Only being able to survive your heat by turning into ice. But holding you in my arms while you sleep, my heart melts, relentlessly revealing my truth for you to see. Oh, wait, don't look at me, 'cause maybe this is just in my head. I'm mad, and this misery, your misery, is just part of my reality. And maybe this is something I don't want to see. So no, please don't tell me. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Oh.
That's my newest one, actually. So it was a little bit...
But thank you for sharing.
So.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you for allowing me to share.
It was wonderful.
For receiving my words.
There's an element of performance in your poetry, which I've also seen when I've seen you on stage. Is that something you've always done, or is that something you developed? I feel like for each poem you have like a character who's speaking out. Is that...
Oh, that's how you perceive it, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. It's more like I allow my heart to commit.
Right.
And then it just is. And of course, like I have, like there's a deep Greek attitude inside of me that loves drama, and so like it amplifies everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mostly it's like I just commit to my words.
No, I like it.
That's
it's
how it flows out.
Yeah, it's quite strong because you're like, you get really sucked in, and I'm like, I believe it because I can see you and I can see the emotions in your face as you're speaking as well. So it's cool. Yeah.
But I feel that makes, like, that's actually the art I like. If I see the people are like, they are authentic, they just not speak their words, they commit to their words.
Yeah.
For me, that touches my heart. So.
Yeah, it's like you're invested in what you're saying and not just, I wrote some lovely, pretty words and then I'm going to share the words with you. It's like I'm sharing an actual story with you.
Yeah, there is motion in the emotion.
Yes.
Thank you. It's beautifully said. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because like you really act and enact what you're saying, so that's the motion.
Yes, I live up to the emotion. I know. Also in like if people like have arguments with me, it's like, I just.
So this is the Greek part of you.
Like if I have arguments, it gets very intense. Yeah. But I needed to learn that when I was moving more with my German friends, because in Greece you can sit on a table like. And there's like a real discussion culture, so we can sit here and we can scream at each other and we cannot agree, but afterwards we just go and eat. So no one wants to convince the other. There's no like, I don't want to enforce myself on you, but we enjoy like the fight.
Yeah,
I love it. Like that's what I'm sometimes missing in Germany. I'm like, I want to fight with someone about something.
Yeah, because it doesn't have to be that like you change each other. It's just the expression, and then you move on, and then you're like, oh, okay, then.
It's like, oh, okay, now I know how you feel, and you know what I feel, and let's.
Yeah, it doesn't change your relationship. It just gives it a little bit more color, maybe, or aspects of. Okay, it's like this is something. Let's scream about this.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always surprising when I meet people, and then I see when I try to convince someone from my worldview, then I'm like, oh, okay, that's like because if I can be cool and I can, how can I say, like, for me it's a sign of, oh, okay, in that topic is integrated within me, like I'm sure about what I'm saying, and if you don't agree, it's okay for me. But if I realize now I want to try to convince you then I see like, oh, okay, now I need to think about my own worldview because it's not integrated. So I need to, I need your support so I feel good.
Yeah.
That's always how I'm like, okay, now I need to stop arguing. I need to sit and think about what I'm doing.
Yeah, because it's also like how we approach each other's boundaries, right? That's
Yeah, like that's how I made some of my friends at school. Well, when I first started going to school, it was like you argue with someone or you like get into a fight with them, and then you have like respect for each other.
Yeah, right.
It's like now you're like friends. You're like, okay, now I know the boundaries. I see who you are. You see who I am. It's cool. And I feel like that's happened so many times in my life where like I got into like a serious argument or fight with someone, and then it's like, oh, okay, now we're cool. You know, because before there's like a push and pull. You don't know where you stand. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like a very intricate puzzle. Then you smash. And it's like, okay, cool. Now I know. Now I know we're cool.
But I feel it's easier for kids. I don't know. The older I get, the more like rigid somehow things get, and then like, oh.
Yeah, it has more implications also, like, right? Because people keep the grudge longer.
Yeah.
Oh, that they remember longer. Kids have like such interesting lives. They're just like, okay, that was yesterday. Today's
it's
today.
a new day. Let's sort this out on another fight. Yeah.
And then you come and you have, I don't know, like new shoes or a new thing to play. And they're like, oh, yesterday I hated you. Today you have like this toy. Be my friend again. Come on.
Let's be friends.
Like, yes. What's the problem?
Oh, this is intense.
The innocence of childhood.
Well, but I think that's why we should all keep the child within us.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I know my child needs a nanny, but
being the own nanny for the inner child is like, I feel that's masterclass inner growth.
Inner nanny for inner child.
That should be a book. That's a great title.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Mary Poppins. I think that's already existing.
Oh, yes.
Damn it.
So what are you looking forward to? Anything coming up that you're particularly excited about?
Oh, yes. I found like another fund. I want to make a project, like a spoken word theater project. I just not know, like the idea just came to me like 2 weeks ago when I was in Guatemala. I'm like, I would like to be like a self-employed artist. So what can I do? And then I don't know, I had this idea of creating a project of, I don't know, having different strong artists speaking about a topic, let's say like love, from different like cultural or even like gender perspectives. Right. So there's like the female, maybe like women speaking about love, men speaking about love, or also that mix. I'm not sure, like it's maybe 2-3 weeks old, but that is something I would like to establish, like as a, let's say like as a spoken word poetry theater tour in Europe. So because somehow I feel like though we are Europe or we are the world, there's still a lot of like misunderstanding or like, you know what I mean, like talking to, I mean, coming from Zimbabwe, your worldview is maybe like completely different, your ideas on love, your ideas on, so now you come in this culture and you're just like, what is happening here? And as I talk to more and more people, I'm like, it's so interesting how people, actually I'm especially interested in love because that's like I'm struggling with love all the time, so I'm like, oh, I would love to see what people have to express about different stages of love from the beginning to, I don't know, you know, like, and what is love to them? What is, so that is something I would like to establish, and I already started to check for fundings because the European Union is like funding such cultural projects. And now I need to find partners and also the actors, but I think, you know, like everything will come somehow and find its way. So now the idea is born, and I, like you with the blueberries, now I manifest the people coming into my life so we can create something together, and from there, I don't know, like start into different, because I mean, it starts with love, but we can go through all the emotions, and I feel it's more, at least for my heart, I see like we can talk about feminism and sexism and racism and all the things, but after all, like, I don't know, for me, those core emotions are, I feel if they are like resolved, many problems like just fade. I don't know, maybe it's just my romantic heart saying that.
Your theater of love.
Oh, yes. Yes. That's how I would call it.
Great
theater
name.
of love. Oh. Yeah.
And you can use your Greek words is also nice, right? Like
sorry, what is that?
agapemu? No, it's not love.
Agapimu. Agapimu. Guglicamu.
So for our audience listening, where can they find you online?
They can find me on Facebook. Looking for Lioness Poetry. Yes.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Aspasia, for speaking with us.
I thank you. And
Thank you.
thanks to you, yes, for inviting me.
So for our lovely audience listening, you know where to find us at www.worduppodcast.com, where you can find our social media, you can suggest new guests, and you can listen to past and present episodes, as well as fresh and up-to-date information on our lovely guests. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
What? I'm just excited about blueberries.
Are they loud in the mic?
Who brought them? How did you manifest it? Oh!
I brought them. She manifested
I'm
through
I'm
me. And
really
was just-
practicing manifestation in a small form
Yeah.
before I take over the world.
Right. Start small, blueberries.